Hi guys, welcome. This is Pinnacle Healthcare Staffing. My name is Anaya, and we're doing another Get to Know a Nurse Monday. Today I have a special guest. Her name is Willa.
Hi everyone.
So, just tell us a little bit about yourself, like your story. Why'd you
hmm
want to become a nurse or work in that field?
Yeah, I'm Willa. I am a rising junior at Penn, and I pursue a dual degree between nursing and business. And originally, I was interested in nursing because in high school, when I was applying for colleges, I wanted to be in healthcare, but I didn't want to pursue a long term school path with it because becoming a dentist or becoming an MD was like a 10-year trajectory. So I was interested in the field of nursing because after the pandemic, I believe that nurses are respected a lot more, and you see how they have like a more flexible lifestyle and they still get compensated pretty well for it. And I wanted a field that was very adrenaline packed, and I think nursing is something that allows you to do something like that because it's around the clock care, and also it helps build the bridge between patients and providers. But there's also so many ways to approach a nursing degree. Like you can work in business, like what I'm doing, probably like on the finance side.
Yeah.
You can go into policy and be an advocate. You can go into education. There's so many roles, and I think it's a very versatile field. So that's why I ultimately chose it.
So your specialty is becoming a BSN, and you choosing that was just to get more into like the business aspect. And would you want to be more into like the hospital field, working on the ground level?
Yeah, I think it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of early to tell yet because essentially what I'm doing is I'm going towards a BSN. So when we graduate, we all have a BSN, which is a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. And then usually after you get that, you take a exam called the NCLEX to get an RN license so you can work at these hospitals. Although I'm like immersed into both sides, like the business side and also the very clinical side, I haven't fully made a decision
Yeah.
yet, but I do think like with the duality of my degree, I get a lot of exposure into both sides, and also through clinicals that I'll be doing like this year, my junior year and senior year, I get to
Mm-hmm.
see a lot more of different sides of patient care, of hospital care, and understanding how everything ties together and works.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So I wanted to get into your nursing school experience.
hmm
What is nursing school like for you so far? And how's that going?
Yeah, I would say nursing school is quite difficult, especially the freshman and sophomore years, because of classes like anatomy and physiology, while also pharm. So it's a lot of memorization and a lot of content. But I believe that if you have a study method nailed down that works for you and you also have a study group, things become a lot more doable and also feasible. But also, the unique side of nursing school is that it's also very hands on compared to a lot of other degrees where you're probably just like being in seminars or taking lectures and then
Yeah.
exams on it. With nursing school, there is also a lab component where you can practice simulations on different kind of models, and like some are more robot based, like they will speak to you, so that really helps you practice your clinical skills also in a setting that really mimics hospitals. And you also have a unique opportunity that's tied within the curriculum to shadow nurses and get to practice some of those skills on a very like novice level. So I do think it's really nice. And also through nursing school, because it's such a small cohort, I've met a lot of my closest friends too from it. So I think it is a really valuable experience.
That's cool. I know
Yeah.
from me being as a college student as well, we don't get to have like the hands-on experience you guys do, which is really
Mhm.
nice. We either have to go out and find like an internship and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but other than that, it's still the experience I'm getting. But I think that's really awesome that you guys
Yeah,
get to be
yeah.
straight on the field and just learn right then and there. So
Yeah, it's really cool.
awesome. So what is fun versus what is not fun about nursing school?
I would say the not fun parts are the parts where you're staying up late at night, memorizing all these different kinds of drugs, drilling it into your system. When you look at a study guide or textbook and you don't understand what's going on, or like when you get your grades back in Canvas and it's not the grade that you wanted it to be, even though you might have spent like so many hours studying for it. I think those are the not fun aspects of it. It's a very challenging course, and it's also very applicational question types because they really help you prepare for the NCLEX, which is not just like a straight up like question and answer. It has you think a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think the fun parts are also the people you get to meet during the process, like your nursing school friends, who are, like I said before, your friends for life. I'm actually roommates with 3 other nursing school students, and also the clinical experience that you get from it by going to different hospitals. Penn has a lot of different hospitals and healthcare systems that they own, so we get to experience how different units and different roles, how they operate across all of our clinical rotations, and that's really fun to see.
Oh,
And throughout that, you get to talk to different like nurses, nurse practitioners, other healthcare workers, and also get to interact with patients of different like diseases and diagnoses and see how that is approached from a nursing perspective.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What can you get out of nursing school so far from your experience?
I think you get a lot of basic, valuable life skills out of it. I think if you forget anything about the sciences and the clinical components of it, I think nursing school leaves you with a strong set of communication skills because you're talking to patients and some of them are at their most vulnerable states and they're in hospitals, which are very, very scary places. So I think nursing school, through communication, it teaches you how to be an empathetic person towards people of all sorts of diverse backgrounds. And through that, you can truly learn how to talk to people, but also be approaching of their emotions and the scenarios and the tough situations that they are facing, and learn how to balance that, and also like how to go through different kinds of hardships. I know, depending on the field, some nurses, they see very difficult things from a day-to-day basis, so learning how to navigate that more to stress and how to emerge as a stronger person. And also with nursing school, it teaches you a lot of like work-life balance too, because you have to figure out how to balance in like 12-hour clinicals like once a week that you're not getting paid for, so it's unpaid labor. So I think that is a lot of valuable skills that I've taken away from nursing school.
What can you expect going into the nursing industry?
I can expect honestly a lot of similarities from what I'm doing right now. I think the great thing about Penn is they have so many different units and they truly try to immerse you into different fields and different kinds of settings, whether it is at like a trauma like level 1 hospital or like outpatient settings to like mental health facilities and stuff like that. You get to see a kaleidoscope of different kinds of experiences. So I think with that, it really helps me build for the real world when you become a full time nurse. I think also it helps you kind of prepare for the 12-hour shifts that you'll experience later on in life. So I think that is a really great component of it. And when transitioning into that post grad nurse life, I think it helps with that. But I think there's also a lot of challenges that come with it, learning more how to balance those tough shifts and how to strike a good like work life dynamic, and also working with like difficult patients and different difficult workplaces is also something that I would have to adjust to.
So now we're going into the deep dive questions from our company. So the first question is, as a nurse, you give lots of care and attention to your patients. Who is the person or people in your life that gives you a lot of love?
I think it's honestly the people around me. I would say my family, my friends. But when thinking about like as a nurse, I think the people that give you love is like the other nurses around you, whether that is also nearby RNs or also CNAs and like doctors and all the healthcare providers that are in this circle of patient care. They're the ones that really help you navigate through all those challenging circumstances and help provide like words of affirmation, during those difficult situations where maybe a patient is harsh to you or they don't
Mm-hmm.
agree with you or they say something a little violent to you, I think those are the people that really help make healthcare an enjoyable field to work with and help foster that collaborative environment where everyone feels included but also is able to provide the best value of care to others.
What's working really well in your life right now?
I think what's working well for me right now, because it is the summer, I don't have classes right now, so I've had time to explore other options and learn like what do I like to do in my free time and help me explore more of the corporate lifestyle, as that is what I'm trying to go into, more of a healthcare finance role rather than a clinical bedside nursing role. So it helps me navigate like, do I like this like 9 to 5 life?
Yeah.
What do I do after work? How do you manage like work, gym, like social life,
Mm-hmm.
friends, and also like cooking and cleaning? And also I'm living in an off campus apartment for the first time in my life. So things like that.
Okay.
It's all comes with the circumstances
Mm-hmm.
of adulting, which is something that I've enjoyed, and I really enjoy this like peace that comes with it, but I also like the chaos that comes with it too. So I think it is
Yeah.
a wonderful balance and it gives a nice break away from the school and the university life.
Mm. Okay. And then, what are you most self confident about?
Ooh. I think I am most confident about my ability to understand and ask questions when there's things that I might not understand. I think with nursing school and also with clinicals and anything you encounter in life, there's so much that's like new and foreign to you that you're not going to
Right.
understand on your first day of the job, your first week in. So I think in those situations, knowing to ask the people around you, whether it is other nurses, like, why are you doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Why does this happen? And understanding those different processes helps you feel less foreign and less like I don't belong here vibe
Yeah.
in those unfamiliar environments. And I would definitely say like my first few clinicals were really scary because you've never been in an environment like that before and it
Mm-hmm.
feels like you're being thrown into the deep end. But when you're able to ask questions and listen and learn and understand,
Mm-hmm.
I think it makes everything a much more enjoyable environment. And
Okay.
that's just what all the nurses do, and they're very, very nice people. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I've enjoyed out of it.
Yeah. I think it's important to ask questions. Like, never be afraid to. Because I've been in
Hmm.
situations where I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like I'll understand
Yeah.
later, but you never know what you'll end up like doing, and you're just gonna be like, oh, I don't know what to do in this situation. But always ask questions is very important, and I'm glad you brought that up.
Hmm.
Um, what has become clear to you as you've gotten older?
I think my vision of what I want to do with the future has become a little bit clearer. I think in high school, when we're just applying to colleges and applying to any major that sounds cool and not really knowing what we're doing, it's a very cloudy environment. But then as you go through college, and not only through classes, but also through extracurriculars, internships,
Mm-hmm.
different kinds of jobs you pursue, and the people that you interact with and coffee chat, that helps your vision of the future become clear. So for instance, like when I came to college, I was like, I'm interested in healthcare, but I'm also interested in business, but I don't really know what I want to do out of it. And then after freshman year, I found some of the opportunities that are available, like healthcare consulting, healthcare investment banking,
Mm-hmm.
like healthcare other stuff, more markets related. And then through my classes of my concentration, I learned more about these different roles and also more about the markets and what they do and how the US healthcare system operates. So from there on, I could kind of do like elimination of what I wanted to do and what I didn't want to do by talking to different professionals that like work in the environment and also through different career services that Penn offers. So I would say now that I'm older, I kind of have a clearer vision of what I want to do, and that is helpful in a lot of ways because you feel less lost
Yeah.
in such a complex world when there's so many different roles and out there.
Yeah.
And I also have a better understanding of what I want to do for our system and how I want to give back and contribute my value and different kinds of add-ons.
Yeah. Okay. And then what is something you wish people understood about you?
Oh, um, I wouldn't say this is just about me, but I think about everyone in general. I think people shouldn't judge others by their like first impressions or how someone appears on the outside. I think like I'm a lot different of a person when you actually get to know and understand and spend time with me than
Right.
how I might appear on the outside. So I think that's something I would want more people to know about is also when you see people for the first time as a nurse and a patient, you're building that interaction for that 12-hour shift is that you truly get to learn a lot about a person throughout the shift and also through that build a valuable relationship that allows care to flow meticulously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Personally, what is the most important value that you live by?
I think it is to lead and learn from a place of love and understanding. I think if people don't have love for each other, but also extend that level of empathy and helping hand, and also be understandable in situations of personal conflicts, of workplace conflicts, like nothing would get resolved efficiently. I think it's important to realize that you're not always going to agree with someone else, and maybe sometimes you're in the wrong, but to take that step ahead and to step back and realize like what someone else is thinking
Yeah.
is a way to build yourself as a person to be more accommodable in the workplace environment and foster overall a more collaborative environment where everyone
Yeah.
learns from each other and has respect for each other.
Okay. That was a good response. If you could talk to all the employers in the nursing industry, what would you advise them to do to better support their nurses?
I think it is overall just about the benefits and having a good staffing model. I understand right now in the post pandemic world, the nursing profession has changed quite a bit. And while nurses do have more autonomy and agency over themselves in terms of their scheduling and also in terms of the hours, there are still a lot of areas, especially in like ICU and trauma nurses or like step down units, where there still is a lot of like workplace harassment and issues like that. And also, nurses are still being overworked in some areas based on their patient flow. So, typically, a nurse will have maybe like 3 to 4 patients that they look after during their 12-hour shifts. But in some areas that are understaffed, they're looking up to like 6 patients a day, which is a lot when you think about the medications they have to prescribe, how they have to chart the patient's vitals, and then communicate with doctors and also attend all of the patient's needs. It is a very, very draining field if you don't have the support from the staff and management.
And then the last question is, what makes a great life?
I think a great life is when you're doing something you're passionate about, with which is what makes your time valuable here. I think we have a finite time in our life and you never know when everything is going to end. So I think to do something that you truly enjoy, that you feel like you're giving value to not only yourself but also society, while also being able to pursue your personal interests really helps with the betterment and furtherment of yourself. I think if you're not doing something you enjoy or in a job that you hate, like you're never going to get anywhere and never going to feel fulfilled. So I think that sense of fulfillment and enjoyment while also having time for yourself to reflect and be independent is what makes life enjoyable.
Oh, I love that response.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, just do what you're passionate about. I love that. And then while you're at it, learn from those experiences because there's going to be good things, bad things about what you do and what you say. it's important that we reflect on ourselves and those lessons because we know next time we want to do better, but also we want to try something new. So
Hmm.
I love that. I love that
Yeah.
response. All
And
right.
it takes a while to find what you're passionate about too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm still learning, and I'm sure you're still
Same. I'm
learning
still
too.
learning.
So,
Yeah. So.
it takes time, maybe months, maybe years, maybe
Mm,
after a few career changes and pivots.
right.
But once you're there, I think that's when you're at peace with what you do and how you do it.
Exactly. Exactly. I love that response.
Yeah.
um, and then that basically is it. But is there
Okay.
anything else you want to add, like any advice to other nursing students or?
I think just stick through it, even if there are tough times and classes are hard. Like, you will see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's only 4 years or 2 years if you're doing an accelerated program. And I think at the end of the day, even if you don't become a nurse or work bedside, I think a nursing degree is still very valuable and very respected
Mhm.
nowadays, which is something that has changed a lot throughout the past decades. And with a nursing degree, there's so much versatility with it, not only bedside, but also like advocating for healthcare policy
Yeah.
changes, working for the government in terms of like Medicare and Medicaid reforms, working from like high level consulting and helping out healthcare businesses. I think that ground level understanding and perspective that you gain from nursing school and also by learning from fellow nurses is something that is so valuable that other people don't have.
Oh, okay. Ooh, that was good.
Mhm.
Anyways, thank you, Willa, for joining, and I hope for the best for your
Yeah.
future, like whatever you plan to do. And like congratulations too for all the schooling that you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. Only halfway through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far this is it, and this is Willa. Thank you for coming in again, and this is Get to Know a Nurse Monday with Pinnacle Healthcare Staffing. Thank you guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.